UFC Fight Night Adesanya versus Pyfer takes place this Sunday, and I'm coming to you with my analysis of the entire main card. Let's start straight away with the first fight of the night of the main card, Terence McKinney versus Kyle Nelson. Now, McKinney is, of course, an explosive fighter. Is most of his fights pretty much last one round, whether it's with Dober, with Duncan, even the fights he loses, they pretty much last one round. So the thing with McKinney is, if you go through his record, the best fighter he has beaten so far is Perez Ziam right at the beginning of his career, but he's lost to some questionable names as well. Kyle Nelson is, of course, coming up from featherweight, and while he is kind of slow, I'm not gonna lie, he's pretty kind of slow kicks, slow punches, but I think he's composed enough to weather the early storm of McKinney. Of course, McKinney throws a lot into the air, half his punches don't land. He's a wrestler, he can wrestle, but Nelson has decent grappling defense as well. So I think I'm going to go with Kyle Nelson on this one. I generally don't think any most male Canadian fighters apart from GSP are any good, but I think Kyle Nelson is he's decent. I think he's good enough to beat McKinney because I don't rate McKinney highly at all. Moving on, Yusri Belgurui versus Mansoor Abdul Malik. Now I have not been impressed with Mansoor Abdul Malik at all. He has had close fights with some pretty low level names. I think he was kind of getting pieced up by Cody Brundage, and Brundage is probably one of the worst fighters in the UFC. On the other hand, Yusri is coming off a big win over a talented fighter like Azamat Bakoyev, has shown steady improvement in his takedown defense. Of course, he was an accredited kickboxer prior to this, has kickboxing matches with Izzy, has his kickboxing matches with Pereira. He's actually beaten Pereira in a kickboxing match, which even Izzy has not done. So I'm gonna go with Yusri Belgurui on this one. I think Yusri Belgurui is ranked level. I think he can have some success in the top 15, and I don't think Mansoor Abdul Malik will ever make it to the top 15. To be honest, moving on. Julian Arosa versus Larian Douglas. I have been going through a lot of Larian Douglas's fights. I've seen a lot of Julian Arosa fights before this. He's coming off a decision loss to Melchizedek Costa, who's on an absolute tear right now, while Larian Douglas is coming off a quick finish on the Contender Series. He's already on in the regional scene. Uh, he's beaten a 23-5 opponent who is also in the UFC. He has beaten a bunch of a 10-3 opponent. He's beaten good opponents on the regional scene. Is a really good boxer. Good grappling defense. He's shown off some offensive grappling in his fights as well. But I must say, putting someone against Julian Arosa on their debut is crazy. Julian Arosa is a tricky customer. He has good decent wins over guys like Sean Woodson. He has some other good wins as well. Julian Arosa. Who else has he beaten apart from Sean Woodson? Let's have a quick look, shall we? But yeah, so Christian Rodriguez is a decent win. Ricardo Ramos is not a good win whatsoever, but he still beat him. Charles Jordan is a good win. Hakeem Dawodu is not bad. Neil Landwehr. So, uh, Julio Arce? Oh, okay. Yeah, so Julian Arosa's kind of had an erratic career. He got knocked out in a very weird way by Francisco Padilla as well. What's the guy's name? Padilla is his name? Yeah, Fernando Padilla. He got knocked out in a weird way by Fernando. Early stoppage, if you ask me. But putting someone against a guy of Arosa's caliber in their debut is pretty crazy. But I have a good feeling that Larian Douglas gets this win. Now, I don't think putting debuting fighters on such a high profile card right at the beginning is a good idea, but Larian Douglas is not really that young. He's 30. So I think he should be able to handle the pressure and beat Erosa. But yeah, Erosa is really good in a shitty way. He's the best shit fighter you'll ever come across. Michael Chiesa versus Carlston Harris. Now I have no freaking clue why they keep on giving Chiesa these kind of matchups. Chiesa should be getting matchups where a young fighter can build their name off of him. Give him Puna, give him Joel Alvarez, even a Randy Brown is fine. Someone who needs that rub off of a known face like Chiesa. Instead, they are giving him names like Court McGee, Max Griffin, Tony Ferguson at welterweight, when no one wants to see that. On the other hand, Carlston Harris is an old man himself. He's coming off a loss to Santiago Ponzinibbio, I believe it was Santiago Ponzinibbio, and he is not good whatsoever. I think Chiesa is actually going to win this, and I don't know what dirt he has on who in the UFC, but come on, man, give this guy someone who can build a name. Let's see what he can do. This guy, he's never been good really. I don't know how he was in the welterweight rankings. I think he went into the welterweight rankings off of wins over Dos Anjos and who else did he beat? Yeah, and Neil Magny. Yeah, he beat Neil Magny in one of those early cards, early Fight Island cards, and yeah, I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna go with Chiesa. I think Chiesa is a little bit better than Carlson Harris. I think can out grapple Harris and kind of outstrike him as well, which is weird as striking. So Chiesa it is. Moving on, Grasso versus Macy Bauer. I think I'm gonna go with Grasso on this one. She has crisp boxing. She's actually beaten Macy once in her career already. Mm, we all remember her. She kind of lost clearly to Natalia Silva in her last fight on the back foot. Looked so weird. It Even in the post fight, it seemed like she never really cared that she lost, which is weird for a former champ. Uh, Lost to Valentina Shevchenko pretty easily in their third fight. The second fight was she actually lost to Valentina in the second fight as well. That last round should not have been a 10-8. And of course, she pulled off that amazing upset over Shevchenko in their first fight. But I'm still going to go with Grasso. I think Grasso is still a young fighter. She's 32, trains with Diego Lopez, and Macy has been very, very, very inactive in her career of late. I remember she had a really good fight against Amanda Hebas, and since then she's kind of disappeared. She beat Caitlin Chukagian sometime after that, but yeah, who gives a shit? I'm gonna go with Alexa Grasso. This is a big fight in the middleweight division. Israel, the last style bender, Adesanya versus body bags Joe Pyfer. I'm gonna go with Izzy on this one. The reason is that Pyfer just like I'll tell you guys the main reason, right? Just 2 years back, this guy lost to Jack Hermanson, and Jack Hermanson is a level below anyone Izzy has ever fought in the recent past. Izzy's mostly been fighting world champs and number one contenders. Joe Pyfer got really tired after the second round against Manson. Even in his last few fights, I mean, he is a good grappler. But he throws single shots, nothing really in combination. He'll throw a 1-2 in a while, and I think Izzy is just gonna chew up that leg, pick it up, pick it up as the fight goes on. Use his 5 round experience, move around on the outside, and I don't think Joe Pyfer has what it takes to track him down. Izzy can uh, stave off his grappling offense too. I think he'll be too slippery for Joe Pyfer, especially as the fight goes on. And yeah, I'm gonna go with Izzy. Izzy has In his last three fights, which he's lost to Strickland, former champ, Duplessis, former champ, and Nasruddin Imavov, who should be the number one contender if the UFC wasn't giving out undeserved title shots like they are right now. I don't think Sean Strickland deserves to fight for the title. He's on a one fight win streak, and one fight win streak title shots are not acceptable in my opinion. That's why I don't think John Silva should. If they give John Silva a title shot, I think the UFC community should revolt. It's a disgrace. And I'm going off topic here, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Izzy. Izzy is. I think he's even in the first round against Imavov. He actually won. I think he actually won that round. He was looking really good till he backed up straight with his chin in the air, which is a problem with certain fighters, which is a flaw in certain fighters' games, such as him, Volkanovski, Whitaker. They all do that, and yeah, it can be bad for them at times, as you saw in that fight. Either way, let me know what you guys think. Such a massive card. I can't wait. See you soon.